what could I give you to be of the greatest and most sincere and dedicated service? And so I thought about it for a little while, and I decided to give you the greatest secret. The secret, the secret of secrets. In the Master Key, Charles F. Honnell, in the very first lesson of the Master Key, he gives the great secret of life in the very first lesson. And it's all about the coordination of two very special centers. It's talking about the brain and the solar plexus. And how do you coordinate? How do you get them in the same place? Your heart and your solar plexus, you express gratitude, thankfulness, because one of the big secrets in Wallace Wattles, all the New Thought, the original law of attraction authors, well, the ones that came to prominence in the middle 1800s into the early decades of the 1900s, they understood that gratitude is, yes, it's expressing thankfulness for all the gifts of spirit, but it's also a magnetic force that unites your brain and your solar plexus. And there's an old occult adage, when the three agree, success will come to thee. So I've decided that what I can give you of the greatest and most dedicated and sincere service is the secret of the solar plexus. And I'll tell you, all you need to do is Google solar plexus PDF, solar plexus or the abdominal brain by Theron Q. Dumont. I think it's enough if somebody out there has the link, I can try to find it a little later. But all you really have to do, there are many, many websites that have a PDF scanned copy of this little pamphlet that was published in 1918 that gives the absolute secret of, it's really one of the secrets of secrets, the solar plexus. And I love the work that Sarah's doing, Sarah Zulu. It just, I was mesmerized. And I'm not familiar with her work, but in some direct or indirect way, it must access the power of the solar plexus, because the solar plexus is the great plexus of the sympathetic nervous system. We know it's the great powerhouse. It's the house, it's the storehouse of all our physical life energy, nutrition, assimilation, respiration, digestion, circulation. And they seem to be regulated independent of the will. It's the solar plexus. It is also, the solar plexus is the great plexus, nerve plexus. It has more neural connections than the heart and the brain put together. It's more fully developed before our brains. That's how important it is. It actually controls the secretion of all the glands, especially the ductless glands. It gives the recipes it gives the recipes for the neurohormones and neurotransmitters, sends that to the glands. All these, the creation of the neurohormones and neurotransmitters, the emotions we feel is the chemical translation of these neurohormones and neurotransmitters. And even if, again, you get your solar plexus awakened, there are receptor sites in the brain for these neurohormones and neurotransmitters. If the receptor sites are blocked, and what blocks them? A lot of stuff in our lifestyles, a lot of neurotoxins, excitotoxins, environmental poisons, pathogens, that kind of stuff. So it's really, we have to address this on many, many different fronts. But as far as the solar plexus goes, again, fully developed before the brain, it's called the fourth brain of man. It is the wow, what's this? It is the solar plexus, which is the seat of the emotional nature of man. It is the solar plexus, not the heart. And here's one of the biggest secrets. Remember, of course, there is that lost mode of prayer. They're all right about that. Of course, we have to feel it to manifest it. But how do we access the depth of emotion and the full spectrum of our emotions that's necessary to manifest abundance, prosperity, our dreams? No emotion is fully expressed until its physical state is expressed. This is a very important understanding. Again, I think it's one of Tony Robbins' earliest exercises. Smile and try to even think of something bad or negative. It's not easy. No emotion is fully expressed until its physical state is expressed. And what controls that? What governs that? It's the solar plexus. To access, again, the depth of emotion and the full range of emotions that we need to manifest, we've got to work with the solar plexus. Okay? There's no doubt about it. If we wish to regulate our emotional nature, we must begin with the solar plexus. We must awaken the solar plexus, and we're going to, near the end of this talk, I'm going to teach you the simple solar plexus breathing to awaken the solar plexus. But please, 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 and I don't know why this is not taught everywhere. Certainly, it's maybe it's uncommon. I thought it was common knowledge. All the great occult systems teach this, how important the solar plexus is. And I know of no talking head or spin doctor or success coach that's really getting into just how important the solar plexus is in the process of manifestation abundance. It's one of the missing links, the deeper secrets of manifestation, along with, of course, understanding the true nature of karma, the true nature of the miasmic body. I think it was Costa. Yes, if you're still there. Yes, of course, DNA is a crystallization of all of our thoughts, positive and negative. And negative thoughts are thoughts that don't honor or certainly understand the law of one, is going to create crystallizations, but very dark, black-like crystallizations that we call miasms. And these miasms block the natural activation sequence of the DNA. They do a lot of weird stuff also. But the true nature of karma, the condition known as karma that's manifested as what we call miasms in the miasmic body, has to be understood. Also, the solar plexus, how important that is in the process of manifestation and abundance. And also, very, very good. Thank you, Victor. And also understanding how important it is dealing with the shadow. It's a lot more complex and complicated than mainstream psychology or metapsychology understands. The shadow has to be dealt with, has to be understood for what it really is. And the solar plexus we come back to awaken and activate the solar plexus. The occultists knew that you could send messages from your thinking brain to your feeling brain. The solar plexus is your feeling brain. From the cerebrum to the solar plexus. The whole idea is that you can, when you get good at this, working with your solar plexus, you can literally tell your solar plexus what you want, how you want to feel. You can change your state in a moment. The true gate to the subconscious, as Sarah Zulu alluded to, is the subconscious. All other things are temporary, even the NLP switch techniques. You want to access, change your program in the subconscious, you got to ultimately work with the solar plexus. The solar plexus is the gate. And again, Charles Haanel and the Master Key, the great secret of life is in the coordination of these two centers. The brain, the thinking mind, and the solar plexus, the feeling mind. And what unites them is the act of gratitude. Okay? So, again, the vital processes are not under control of the mind, the thinking mind. Through the thinking mind, you can exert some control over thoughts and belief, but the solar plexus is the instinctive mind. We're going to awaken the solar plexus. It's an amazing, amazing technique. And this understanding, I tell you again, if I could give you anything, this is of the most value. You know, the emotional feelings, and I'm quoting directly from that little pamphlet. Please download it. It could change the trajectory of your lives in a heartbeat. The emotional feelings of man have their seat and center in the solar plexus, the control center of the sympathetic nervous system. Regulating emotional states is dependent upon the regulation of the solar plexus. Right from Theron Q. Demont's, it's actually William Walker Atkinson writing under a pseudonym because probably didn't get permission from this occult lodge to divulge this secret, which I don't see really taught anywhere in its depth. It's so important that there is no complete emotional state without the physical organs being involved. And the physical organs are under the direct control of the sympathetic nervous system. And the powerhouse of the sympathetic nervous system is the solar plexus. So to gain control of ourselves, it must be found in the control, in the regulation, and direction of the solar plexus. Those that have escaped the bondage of the elemental and instinctive feelings, the lower emotional states, control over the lower passions, emotions, and feelings. And again, in many cases, you can affect this by sheer will, but there is a far more direct method of directing and regulating the emotions and the feelings. The close relationship of emotional feeling and the physical organs is regulated, supplied with energy, thoughts, information by the sympathetic nervous system, the great brain, the seat of emotions, power, and knowledge, the great nervous center, the solar plexus, the center of life and life action, the source of all great things, the reason for all great deeds and courageous feats. Behold the wonder of wonders. Ideas held in the mind, influencing the internal organs. The reverse can also be held true. The key to mental healing, the mind over body suggestion, is all centered in the solar plexus. There is a connection between these two great nerve centers and their respective brains. Body and mind could act independently of each other. Usually, communication between both systems is done unconsciously. I think, as Sarah alluded to, we want to be conscious co-creators. We're conscious. It's not like we're not we're manifestors. We're master manifestors. We're manifesting 24/7. Every one of our thoughts, even thoughts that we consider trivial, inconsequential, that's going to feed all these different morphogenetic fields that's going to crystallize itself in this hologram we call life. We have to control our thoughts. This is why in all of my programs now, I put front and center the master key. 24 weeks, 24 lessons. You come out the other side, I guarantee you everything will change, because we can. And in most systems, well-intentioned systems of healing, personal spiritual development, wealth attainment, whatever it is, peak performance, they fail because of one primary factor: that people haven't learned to control their thoughts. Pretty much that's it. Okay, so let me know, Neil or Victor, when I have 10 minutes left. Okay, all right, because I'm starting to get wound up. Okay, let's see. All right. The whole idea is you can give the solar plexus, when it's awakened, when you develop this relationship, a conscious relationship with your solar plexus, you can give the solar plexus definite, specific directions and suggestions. Again, it's about emotional control. The solar plexus can be consciously called on to exert the control upon the physical organs as far as healing goes. It's basically concerned with the expression and manifestation of the emotional states, because ultimately we manifest with our feelings. We create with feeling first. There's got to be that desire. We create with feeling first. It's the emotional body. It's the substance of the emotional body that creates the mold or matrix out of through which what we want to manifest. There's so much I can talk about here, but basically, we can change our emotional states. We can increase courage, understanding, gloom, depression, discouragement, doubt can be transformed, transmuted. We can do all this. The solar plexus is the source of the vital source of physical energy. It's the storehouse as well as its generator. You know what it feels like when you feel that elan vital manifesting itself within yourself and through itself. Are we not the revealing vehicles through which source, God, whatever you want to call the wholeness source, works through us, extends grace from us, through us, out into the world. I tell you, in moments of grace, we remember. Rudolf Steiner said that, and now we're going to remember. We're going to remember how to do it. Here is the technique. Okay? Just like Wallace Waddle says, it's about thinking in a certain way. And to virtually guarantee the attainment of any goal, you need to focus on one primary desire. It needs to be something you really want. You know, it's when I do my workshops with my most program or in my mentorships. It's like it's the Spice Girls challenge. At the beginning of a workshop, I'll ask people what they want, and they'll say, okay, I want the boat, I want the car, I want the villa in the south of France. Halfway through the workshop, I ask them what they really want. And they say, well, what I really want, and all these things are just ways I want comfort, security, I want to be happy, I want a roof over my head. At the end of the workshop, I ask them, what do they really, really want, like the Spice Girls? And what they really, really want is to be of service. That's the greatest success. How to serve the most people. Ask yourselves right now, or in meditation, or tonight before you go to sleep, how can I be of the greatest service to myself, to the world, to God, to the wholeness, to the unicide, to the source that breathes, whatever you want to call it. And be patient. Again, it needs to be something you really want, a burning desire. But I've noticed that over the course of years, where is that burning desire? People simply can't have the motivation, the ambition, because to feel that motivation and ambition and that real urge to merge or whatever it is, or urge to purge, any kind of urge, that's a chemical translation of neurohormones and neurotransmitters. And the direction comes from the solar plexus to the glands. And again, that's all well and fine, but the receptor sites for those neurohormones and neurotransmitters in the brain have to be unblocked. Okay? And again, Wallace Waddle says it's a burning desire that comes from deep within. If you want it strongly enough, you can have it. And once you've established your goal, you communicate that goal to what they call the original thinking substance. We are just reality, the world, the universe, the unicide is formed from this plastic mediate, this substance that's basically, it's our thoughts that give, where we live in seas of consciousness. There's no space between us. There's consciousness, but there's a lot of consciousness that haven't taken shape yet. It's our thoughts that create the grids, that creates the blueprints, the framework upon which thoughts will eventually accrete, reach a critical mass, and then they will crystallize themselves. But again, it's the feelings. It is our emotions that create the mold or matrix. And again, you have to be patient. You have to be patient. Just because it hasn't come when you feel it's supposed to come. I can't tell you how many people just on the cusp of manifesting their dreams have given up because it hasn't come when they think it needed to come. Be patient. That's why it's a virtue. Okay? It's on the way. It's on the way. That there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, in which its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills all the interspaces of the universe. And a thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. So here is the technique. And a lot of it has to do also with your self-image. It's very good to read Maxwell Malt's original Psycho-Cybernetics. He was a plastic surgeon who made a lot of people look better, look beautiful, but they didn't feel better about themselves because they had a negative self-image. You cannot manifest anything with a negative self-image. If it's contrary to your self-image, certainly if it's negative, you're not going to be able to manifest it. 4:49 in the morning. Give me a break. Okay, here we go. You ready? This is the method of awakening the solar plexus. This is the key, one of the biggest keys. We take a few deep, regular breaths. Relax. Get comfortable. Don't lounge. And then finally, after you've established a regular breathing rhythm, normally when you do this for yourself, you take a few minutes, you basically establish a normal, regular breathing pattern. You take a few deep breaths. This is why deep breathing is the key, pranayamic breathing. It's to awaken and activate the solar plexus. And again, you get good at this, you can tell your solar plexus how you want to feel, what you want to manifest. And the solar plexus will do whatever rewiring is necessary to manifest that for you. Okay? After you've established a regular breathing rhythm, you're going to take a deep, comfortable inhale, and you're going to hold it. And instead of exhaling, you're going to take an additional inhale. And that second inhale is the one that pushes down on your abdominal muscles and pushes out the tummy a little bit. Again, for a few minutes, you breathe regularly, normally, deep, slow, comfortable, regular breaths. And the solar plexus breath is to be done in sets of 3. When you're ready, you take an inhale. This is not the one that pushes the tummy out. Just take a nice inhale. Hold the breath. Don't exhale. Take another inhale. And that inhale pushes down and out on your abdominal muscles, pushes your tummy out a little bit. Doesn't have to go out that far. And then on your exhale, you simply suck it back. Let me see if I can get this. You inhale. Hold. Don't exhale. Take another inhale breath. That pushes the gut out a little bit. And when you exhale, you reverse the motion. You suck it back. You do that for 3 breaths. So let's do it. Let's breathe for a little bit, a minute or so. In the words of William Walker Atkinson, who wrote this little pamphlet under the pseudonym Theron Q. Dumont, who in 1910 wrote the book, Thought Vibration or the Law of Attraction in the Thought World. Okay. Take a few deep, regular breaths. And then finally, after you've established a regular breathing rhythm, hold the inhaled breath instead of exhaling it, but only for a few moments, just enough to interrupt the established rhythm. And then at the moment when, according to the established rhythm, the breath should be exhaled, you must instead, while holding the breath, empty your abdominal muscles so that you will press downward and outward upon the pit of your stomach. And then while exhaling the breath, draw in the same muscles to as reverse the preceding motion. Okay? You do this 3 times. You, again, establish a normal breathing rhythm. This is one of the secret of secrets. After you've established a normal breathing rhythm, inhale, hold. You know, at the top of every inhale, you build electrical charge. Don't know if a lot of people know that. You hold it for a moment. Don't exhale. Another inhale. That pushes the tummy out. Exhale. Draw, suck it back in. Do this 3 times at your own pace. And then after you've done it 3 times, back to normal breathing. Then you breathe normally for a few minutes, resting yourself. And after a couple more minutes of just regular breathing, you do another 3 of these solar plexus breaths. They're done in sets of 3. So you breathe normally. You do the 3 solar plexus breaths. Breathe normally for a couple of minutes. Do another 3 solar plexus breaths. Breathe normally. Do another 3 solar plexus breaths. Now, while you're doing the solar plexus breaths, you suggest ideas to your solar plexus. You say, I wish to feel, or I wish you to feel. In other words, you suggest strongly what you want. It is in my mind to blank. I wish to feel, or I wish to manifest. This is the key. Okay? This is the key. You enter into a conscious relationship with your solar plexus. You explain to your solar plexus is a conscious, living, sentient identity, more fully developed before our brains. As a acupuncturist, we learned very early on that the brain is what's called a fu organ, secondary organ, because the Chinese like to say a lot of people walking around without brains in the world. Okay? You develop a relationship with your solar plexus. You talk to it. You explain your role in this and the solar plexus's role. You understand the method of awakening it. Okay? Having awakened the solar plexus, having secured the attention of this instinctive feeling mind, then you proceed to establish harmonious relationships with it. Hold that mental attitude, send the thought, form a clear thought of your intention, and you remind the solar plexus of its role and your role and how you wish to work together. This is the secret. The breathing method, you must also give the instinctive mind an equivalent of a verbal command to wake up. So after you've done a couple of cycles of those 3 breaths, you tell the solar plexus, you command it, wake up, wake up. It may sound a little corny, but this is the way it works. You concentrate your directive thought on the pit of your stomach. Send the mental message, wake up, solar plexus. Give me your full attention. Sending a forceful message. Form the words with your lips and tongue as if you were whispering to it. And proceed as if the solar plexus was a sentient conscious identity. And then again, having awakened the solar plexus, having secured its attention, you proceed to develop, establish harmonious relationships with it. Hold that mental attitude. Send the thought. Form a very clear intention of what you want to manifest, how you want to feel. And again, when you get good at this and it works, you can tell the solar plexus what you want to feel. You can change your state in a heartbeat. You can change a subconscious program for good, or you can enter a new program in through the solar plexus.